Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So let's do some musical prayers. Okay, just we'll do two of them. One is Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari, one is Om Namah Shivaya. So please just repeat after me. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari,
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 Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
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 Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Shivaya.
Om Namah 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 Shivaya.
So welcome to the Gurupoornima ceremony. I will now do a very quick puja to Ganapati and to Sri Dakshinamurti, who is of course the first teacher of this whole thing. So I'll talk about that in a minute, but let me just quickly do the archana to both Ganapati and to Om Gajananam Bhutaganadisevitam Kapitthajambufalasaravhakshitam Umasutam Shokavinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwarapada Panchakam. Om Sumukhaya Namaha. Om Ekadantaya Namaha. Om Kapilaya Namaha. Om Gajakarnakaya Namaha. Om Lambodharaya Namaha. Om Vikataya Namaha. Om Vignarajaya Namaha. Om Vinayakaya Namaha. Om Dhumuketave Namaha. Om Ganadhakshaya Namaha. Om Bhalachandraya Namaha. Om Gajananaya Namaha. Om Vaktatundaya Namaha. Om Shurpakarnaya Namaha. Om Herambhaya Namaha. Om Skandapurvajaya Namaha. Om Shri Siddhivinayaka Swamine Namaha. So for the Dakshinamurti, normally we do the full 108 names, but just for lack of time, we are just going to do the first 16 names of the Ashtoka. So first the Dhyana Shloka. Om Spatikaradavarnam Auktakim Akshamalam Amrita Kalasha Vidyam Jnanamudram Karagre Dadata Murga Kaksham Chandrachudam Trinetram Vidrita Vivida Bhusham Dakshina Murtamide. So we will now chant this 3 times and you can follow after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye.
Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye.
Mahyam Medham Pragyam Prayacha Swaha.
Mahyam Medham
Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye.
Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye.
Mahyam Medham Pragyam Prayacha Swaha.
Mahyam Medham Prayacha Swaha.
Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye.
Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye.
Mahyam Medham Pragyam Prayacha Swaha.
Mahyam Medham Prayacha Swaha.
Om Omkara Simha Sarvendraya Namaha. Om Omkaro Dhyana Kokilaya Namaha. Om Omkara Nirashukaraje Namaha. Om Omkara Aranya Kunjaraya Namaha. Om Nagaraja Sutajanaye Namaha. Om Nagaraja Nijalayaya Namaha. Om Navamanikya Maladhyaya Namaha. Om Navachandra Shikhamaye Namaha. Om Nandita Shesha Maunindraya Namaha. Om Nandi Shadi Madeshikaya Namaha. Om Mohanala Sudhasaraya Namaha. Om Mohambuja Sudhakaraya Namaha. Om Mohandakara Taranaye Namaha. Om Mohotpala Nabhomanaye Namaha. Om Bhakta Jnana Abdi Shitanshave Namaha. Om Bhakta Jnana Tamalaya Namaha. Om Shri Dayananda Satgurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Maheshananda Satgurubhyo Namaha. So let's chant the Guru Stotram. I think in the interest of time, we'll do it together. So if you know it, then kindly do it. If not, then you can just listen. Akhanda mandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimidandhasya jnananjalashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sthavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yatkinchit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarvashruti Shiroratna Virajita Padambujaha Vedantambuja Suryo Yaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chaitanya Shashvata Shantaha Vyomadito Niranjanaha Bindunad Kalatitaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jnana Shakti Samarudhaha Tattvamala Vibhushitaha Bhukti Mukti Pradata Cha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Aneka Janma Samprapta Karma Bandha Vidahine Atma Jnana Pradhanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shoshanam Bhavasindhoscha Jnapanam Sara Sampadaha Guror Padodakam Samyak Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Na Guroradikam Tattvam Na Guroradikam Tapaha Tattvajnanat Param Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Madnatha Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Madatma Sarvabhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gururadiranaadischa Guruparadaivatam Gurov Parataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gadanasadrisham Tattvamasyavilakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. You may welcome very much to the session on Gurupoornima. I'm happy to see you all. The Gurupoornima is actually more of, is not written in the Shruti per se, but they say that as a history that from the time of Veda Vyasa, the parampara of the gurus is talked about, and it is a good thing to do. Here, the main recipient of this ceremony is really the student. It should be the student. The guru, in effect, doesn't need this kind of a thing. It's very possible that in the old days, when the guru was the one who needed to be sustained in a gurukulam, some money was needed and so on and so forth, but it's not as though you do that on one day or anything like this. So the guru doesn't need it in that manner. In fact, what I would say is that if you were to come out and give some talk, I hope many of you do, please don't mention me. That's not the main thing. What I would like you rather do is to give some ideas on how the teaching has benefited you. That would be nice. I would prefer that you do it that way. So, in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in the 34th verse, as you've seen, there's a very famous verse, says, Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. So here the first verse refers to the attitude of the student, and the second verse refers to the attitude of the teacher. So the first one says, Tad vidhi, may you know this very subtle thing that we are, which is available but not appreciated. Tad vidhi, how? Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. These are the 3 things mentioned. So one is pratipadena. Pratipadena means, really in the modern parlance, would be devotion. Because until you're devoted to something, you don't get anything. And this is true for anything that we do in our life. That you have some ideas on something, this is what I want to do. Whether it's a law degree or engineering or medicine or anything like this, you become really devoted to it. And so here also, what needs, and we'll talk much more detail some other time, is a sense of devotion. Then the second word is pariprashnena. So pariprashnena means, because the difficulty about knowing the Atma is removing your doubts. Because the initial Shravanam is not that difficult to do. You can see what is Nityam, what is Anityam, what is Satyam, what is Mithya. Intellectually we can grasp it. But then to get the full benefit of it in our life, I remember this so well when we graduated from Piercy, and in the final, well, 2 things I'll say. One is the general talk that Swamiji gave on the very last day, and so somebody asked from the audience, Swamiji, if one thing that I need to do to make sure that I gain from it, what is it that I know? That is, Swamiji replied, Shraddha. Shraddha eva labhate jnanam. So this is one thing. Then in a private moment, because I used to drive Swamiji back and forth in the car, back from Piercy, and so I had a lot of time to devote to him. And I asked him one time, I said, Swamiji, what do I need to really do? Well, I'm not sure that I am really getting the full benefit, in the sense that I am not a Jivan Mukta yet. But I'm clear about what you're saying. What is it that I need to do? I was driving the car, he was sitting next to me. And he says, just remove your doubts. And I've never forgotten that. So what happens is that subtly in the subconscious, you may all say, yeah, this is Atma, this is that, and so on and so forth. Subconsciously your mind says, not clear. How do you explain this? Then you say, just shut up, shut up, shut up. Atma is this, and so on and so forth. Subconscious doesn't quite keep quiet. You cannot just suppress it. You have to address it. Only when the whole thing is absolutely clear and bereft of doubts, then it becomes very clear. So therefore, pariprashnena means you need. This is why the whole teaching. Even though in our classes we tell people, please don't raise your hands in the middle of the teaching. Keep your questions at the end of it. That may be okay. But you have to really crystallize your questions and ask them. This is why I sometimes worry. I find some people who are so quiet. There's only two reasons for being quiet. One is you completely understand it and you don't need to ask anything. And the other one is you have so many doubts, you don't know where to begin. And also it becomes, if you've been attending classes for a while, it becomes more and more embarrassing. Well, I should have known this. I have this doubt and I've been studying for 2-3 years. What is the teacher going to say? So all those things happen. Swami Dayanand once said, Swamiji said, my prayer for my students is they don't get famous until they understand. In fact, I tell you, one of the great disadvantages of getting Diksha from Swamiji and becoming a Swami is that you feel very shy of asking questions on things that are still not clear to you. And some things are, just because you're becoming a Swami doesn't mean that everything is all clear. They are also Vividisha sannyasi, not Vidvat sannyasis. Swamiji made this point. He says, I really request the students to ask questions either to themselves or to others and clarify it before you are now in a position to teach and you become a big guy and so on and so forth. So this is an important thing. So pariprashnena. Finally, sevaya. So seva here means it's not as though you're just become something that you have to really support the teacher or anything like this. It could happen in some circumstance. Here the word seva means commitment. You are also as committed as I am, and I am also as committed as you are. And I must say I feel very lucky that I have students that I teach where I don't see you being casual. You don't miss classes because, I don't feel like it. You miss classes because there is a legitimate reason for it, and I'm very happy about that. But we need to really renew our commitment to it because, as Swami Paramarthananda also says so well, he says, Shravanam and learning and so on doesn't mean just reading a couple of books and so on and so forth. It is a full-time devotion over a long period of time. Until that happens, it's not going to really be a benefit to you. In the 7th chapter of the Panchadashi, verses 205 to 209 that I recently reviewed, and I mentioned this in my previous class also. Here, Vidyaranyaji discusses 4 things necessary for doing mananam. And I have to say this, by the way, that so far our study has been devoted mostly to Shravanam. not to the process of mananam. We have not equipped you yet with the tools of mananam. That is yet to come. It will now come from now on. But so far, in the kind of limitations that we have, once a week class over a long period of time, it is really just about Shravanam. Now we will start to devote it more on Mananam. And Mananam has 4 different things. One is called Apramada. Second one is Abhyasa. Third one is Shraddha. And fourth one is Parishrama. These are the 4 things. So very briefly, Apramada means lack of neglect. So even in our worldly pursuits, we find that if we really want to do something, we cannot neglect it. We cannot say, I think I'd rather go to the movie. I'm not going to study today. I don't feel like it. You lose that opportunity. Anyway, so we'll discuss it in more detail. Apramada. Abhyasa, Swami Vidyaranya and Swami Maheshananji both pointed out, Abhyasa means, like for example, supposing you have a singer who wants to be really good at it. There's a lot of repetition, a lot of same raga over and over again. Our Panditji in the Sailorsburg Ashram, if you look at Mukesh Desai, he's a very good singer, but he spends a lot of time in just practicing. So Abhyasa is the second one, where until you have become very clear, you have to keep repeating it in that manner. The third one is Shraddha. So Shraddha here is also an important thing, because Swami Vidyaranya points out that if you, for example, people go to temples, and they go to temples and pray and do yajna and tapa and all those, because there is a Shraddha that by doing that now, some results will come in the future. They are not happening on that day. This is postponed to something in the future. But they're committed to the Shraddha that this will happen. And it happens. Really, if you do all the punya karmas and so on, your next birth will be very beautiful, no doubt about it. But it requires Shraddha. Similarly, there needs to be a Shraddha for Atma Jnanam too, that this will result in something. And the more you pursue it, the better you feel about it, and it becomes clearer and clearer. I can just tell you from my own experience. So Shraddha is very important. And finally, Parishrama. So Parishrama means here, this is where I think the Mananam, we will spend a lot of time on what is it that I need to do in order to really get the love and the experience of Ishvara in myself. That working hard. So Mananam is not just meaning casual thinking. It means complete devotion to it. And if you are able to do it, this life itself, as we were discussing in the Mandukya, he says that this is Sa-Atma Sabvijnaya. This is worth knowing. You cannot believe how much you will get out of it if you were to just do this. So anyway, that is what is meant by sevaya, by seva. So it is not, doing massage to the teacher. It means that there was a Swami Maheshananji gives this funny example. He says there were two students who were very, very devoted to him. And so they all said, Swamiji, please let me massage your legs after you're tired during the day. So Swamiji says, okay, all right, fine, do it. Then the other student also said, Swamiji, I also want to do the same thing. Swamiji says, I've got 2 legs. I don't know what to do. So he says, okay, do this. one person does the left leg and the other one does the right leg. Okay? So they said, fine, okay. So this Swami, when he was lying down, he turned so that the top leg is the left leg and the bottom leg is the bottom. So the other one says, this is not fair. So he turned him back over there. Swami says, oh my God, what is, don't fight over doing. This is not meant by seva here. Seva simply means commitment. And to really make sure that we are together as a community, both joining. This is the meaning of Sahana Bhavatu. You try hard, and I also try very much to. Today is interesting. One of my wife's clients is having his son's wedding in out of town. It's a very exclusive wedding. I mean, there's like millions of dollars for this. In India, they have this. So they had done this 2 months ago. They invited, and we are very lucky that the only people invited that are not part of the family is my wife, and of course her husband also along goes with it. And so my Pami told me that that I hope you can come with me. And I'm going to be next week. I'm leaving the country for a couple of weeks. So I said, Pami, I at that time I didn't even think about the Gurupoornima. I said, that's too much. I can't do this. So she said, are you sure? I said, yeah, absolutely. I cannot do this. Then the Gurupoornima came, and now when she left yesterday, she says, everybody's asking, how come Vijay didn't come? So and say, well, he's collecting some money for teaching. And so this is an important ceremony and so on. So I said, if you ask your client to give me $10,000, maybe I'll go there. And this is a fact, really. This is an important function, so I didn't want to do that. Commitment. My whole family says, how can you not go to this wedding? Classes happen every day. I said, no, they don't. I'm very committed to it. So sevaya here means commitment and so on and so forth. So anyway, thank you all for coming and giving your love and your commitment to this. And I also like to recognize Kumud as a teacher. So wonderful that she's now started a teaching program for Sanskritam. So as a teacher, I applaud her as well. And all of you. In fact, one of the things I would very much like to see, and say this very sincerely, is that please think about sharing this vidya in some kind of a fashion. I was talking to Surendra, and for example, when he reads something, he always shares it with his brother. This is a wonderful thing to do. And so I think you could just form some kind of this Panchadashi first chapter is a great way to summarize the teaching. So I hope that you think about teaching and that it helps you as well, and it also helps others as well. So this is an important thing for us to do. Lastly, in fact, why don't we, I've got a couple other things to do, but I would like to now turn it over to you. If you would like to just come up and say some words about yourself, really. I'm part of that, of course. It's not as though I'm just being overly shy or anything like that, but really the main focus should be on you. So let me step aside and have you come and give some, and then we will finish the ceremony with that. So with that, wonderful to have you as my students. It's interesting. I think I was replying to Raj Paripatidar. He had given, I told him this about a month or so ago. I said, when I think about this teaching that I do, you cannot believe how much I benefit from it. And I'm not just saying it, just look at one aspect of it. Okay? This is the interesting thing. If I was not doing this formal teaching, then it'll be very difficult as a householder to not extricate myself from the household things. But here's what happens, it's very interesting. Because I am in an organized teaching, my wife lets me not interfere at that time. So for example, she'll say, oh, you have a class on Tuesday night, right? Okay, sorry, I cannot do that. This is a wonderful thing. You are responsible for it. If I were to say, you know what, I just want to study today on this book, she'll say, shut up. We're supposed to go someplace or anything. You can't just do that. But I'd say, oh, I have this class. She says, oh yeah, you have a class. This allows me to protect myself against all of them. And I hope you do the same thing. Really. You should utilize it. And you say, no, I cannot, I have to be there. And I think you do. I know many of you do that, so it's so wonderful. So with that, thank you all for being my students. There is no teacher without a student. So with that, I'll close my remarks now. Have you come up and say some things. And then I do have something to give you, so that I will do that a little bit later on. Oh. So I invite anybody else, however you want to do that. Please state your name so that not everybody will know you.
Okay. My name is Vikram. I've been attending this class for about 3 years now. I know Guruji said not to talk about you, but I feel really fortunate to have a very devoted teacher like you, and that inspires me to be very committed and devoted to the study as well. I don't have much to say, but one thing was Guruji was mentioning today. You hear and you feel, you understand, but it doesn't really help you that much. That was happening for maybe a year and a half, and my wife used to say, what's the use of studying all this Vedanta? I don't see any improvement in you. You're the same person. Why wasting your time, right? But recently, I started doing 2 things, and I thought these could be, pointers for other people that would help. So one was, I started doing Nididhyasana every morning. Even when I'm traveling, I probably do it in the hotel room or whatever, right? But I have not missed it pretty much every day, right? So I do that. I personally like the last 18 verses of the 2nd chapter of the Gita, right? That's my favorite. That's the one I mostly meditate on. And then even the Atma Shatakam, the 6 verses from Adi Shankara, those are good verses for Nididhyasana. So those have really helped me. And the second one is even if it's 10 minutes, studying something every day. So I try to get 15 minutes maybe at night, just before I go to bed. And I find that usually to be a good time because everybody else is asleep and there's no disturbance, right? You get your 15 minutes. So that has helped me. So that's what I wanted to share. And then on the last point, I think we have a good tip, right? Maybe I should start thinking about teaching too, because that's what happens at home. If I tell my wife that I want to study, she's like, get out, you need to do this, you're not studying. So maybe I need to come up with some clever excuse for doing that. That was a good tip. Thank you, Vijayji. Okay, thank you.
I am trying to learn meditation. For a few classes I have taken all those things. It's helping me, but when I came to class, I can tell you, my focus is only on your talk. This is the time I feel that my mind is not roaming around. 100% I listen to you. So I take it as my meditation. Nothing come in my mind, all I'm listening what Guruji is saying. So thank you for helping me to learn the life and also to control my mind to just focus in one thing. That is very helpful. And I want to say something, but I would like to do it by singing, just 2 lines. I think that's very relevant to today's program. Man tarapat hari darshan ko aaj, man tarapat hari darshan ko aaj, more tum bina bigare sagar काज ओ बिनती करत मुँह रखियो लाज, मन तरपत हरि दर्शन को आज, बिन गुरु ज्ञान कहाँ से पाऊं, दीजो दान हरि गुण गाऊं, सब गुनी जन पे तुम्हारे राज, मन तरपत हरि दर्शन को आज.
I've been attending classes with Vijayji since 2010-11, and so I'll go over a couple of benefits that I've gained, over time. First of all, I was involved in many different organizations, and so I was not focused. And some of them to list are Art of Living, Chinmay Mission, and Hare Krishna. All of them I was involved. Wherever some Swami came, I would go to the lectures. And once I started attending classes, I knew that now I have to be focused on just one thing, what Vijayji is saying. So Vijayji made me channel my thinking to just one thing, which is Arsha Vidya and the Vedanta. So that focus wasn't there before that. And then after some time we did Rudram. And when Vijayji started the Rudram classes, so I had not heard the word the Rudram. And I thought, why is Rudram relevant to me, I had no idea. I said, why are we doing Rudram? There's Gita and there's so many other texts here. Why is Vijayji choosing Rudram? That's my first thought. After finishing Rudram, I found out that this is the best form of prayer and is addressing the right person. And so since we finished the classes, I have been doing Rudram every day. Without fail, I don't start my day without doing Rudram. So Rudram has become such an integral part of me as a form of prayer, as a form of accepting and appreciating Ishvara's glory, So it's a wonderful form, And then some of the advices Vijay is given are amazing, because earlier I used to go to different swamis and I don't have any need to go anywhere, And the advice Guruji said that share your thoughts and with other people. And I've been sharing in various ways, and one of them, as Vijay mentioned, by doing Skype session and then talking to people who are family members or friends and whoever is interested. Sharing with them has become part of me, and of course giving presentations which I don't really enjoy, like giving at India Community Center. I've given series of presentations, but the main benefit by giving presentations is that when people ask questions, my understanding becomes clear what Vijay said. But teaching your own personal, you get personal clarity of your thoughts, which you didn't have till you start sharing with people. And of course, the third is the Upanishads have been, each Upanishad has been a gem. Each verse of Vishwas Upanishad, Kathopanishad, and Mandukya, and Taittiriya Upanishad has been amazing. So I benefit from each other, every word of the Upanishads and Vijayji's teaching. And we're very grateful.
I'm very grateful to Sri Kapoorji for his exponent of Vedanta from various learned scriptures and traditional meanings. But what I benefited, I think, most is from his own experience of those things, that in questions and other ways he was able to give his own experience. This is called Brahmanistha, which is, he is very learned in the scriptures, but Brahmanist means that experience of the Brahma, and that he is able to convey, which has benefited me a lot in my search and hope for realization. And I'm very grateful to him.
Oops, it's come off.
You can do that?
It's okay.
That's okay. Anyone else?
Shri Gurupoornima Vijayji.
Okay.
My name is Shrida. I have been coming to class since 2004, approximately. Some of the benefits that I have gotten from Vijayji and the classing and the teaching. I come mostly every Saturday morning, and it is, in my personal view, it's kind of a sadhana, forces me to get out of the house. And before, when I started, I wasn't married, and then I got married, and then I didn't have kids, and then we had kids, then we had another kid. So the house is full, but it's nice that the family is accommodating, and I'm able to come and focus on improving myself and learning about myself. We've been through many, many Upanishads. I learned some Sanskrit in this process. And I think also when you face things in the world, whether they be at work or personal or things happen in life, and this gives me a perspective, not always immediately, but eventually. And I can feel that I'm growing in that process. It is hopeful that we will continue for a long time to come.
Namaste Vijayji. So today is a special day where we bow to the feet of all our gurus who have taught us many lessons in life, beginning with our parents, our teachers, and the lineage of acharyas. To bow down to your feet, Vijayji, is a privilege that makes my heart quiver with joy and amazement. I clearly remember the first time I spoke with you, and you asked me if I had had any spiritual education, especially since I was not brought up in the Hindu tradition. I said I had only read an introductory book on Vedanta recently, which was presented in my hands serendipitously by Ishvara, and one that had ignited a roaring fire in me to know more. You patiently explained that since we were beginning the Mundaka Upanishad at that time, an advanced text, it might be difficult and I might not understand. But you kindly allowed me to attend the classes anyway. Thank you for that allowance. That was the beginning of my transformation. I cannot exactly say when it happened, but I know for sure that it did. And it continues to bless me every single day. This transformation has empowered me and granted me the ekagrata, the shraddha and the shanti, knowing the certainty of moksha. Rudram, Nididhyasnam have become a part of my daily life. I deal with normal issues being a grahastha in terms of not going with my husband everywhere he wants me to go, whenever he wants me to go. And then, of course, the question every single Friday night, do you have class tomorrow? No. Or do you have to go to class tomorrow? Yes. And but that's, now we laugh about it because it's a joke. But that continues to happen. But nonetheless, we have also, upon your and Swamiji's advice, we're in a very integrated part. We have a Monday Atma Vichara group that some people here are part of, and it's a very important part of my life as well, because we study the text, we listen to the lectures, we read the books, and then we all write down what we got out of a certain verse, and then we all read what we got out of the verse, and then we have discussions, and that to me is very, very important. It clears up a lot of doubts in our mind. So with your clear and patient teaching, I have to say, you have ignited the spark of knowledge which cannot be squelched for any reason and continues to rage in me as an intense desire to know myself as Brahman, as I seek to fully assimilate this precious knowledge. My relationship with the Jagat and all its manifestations is at a level of acceptance, knowing all is well, that the laws of the universe and karma never err, and I am in awe of this incredible and perfect creation. I have been able to accept with grace the ups and downs of life and remain steadfast in my pursuit despite it all. No words can truly express what my heart wishes to say. So bless us with your Guru Krupa, and may you be blessed with health and vigor and continue to teach us with great love and reverence. Thank you.
My name is Mona, and I'm very grateful to Kumudji for introducing me to Guruji. This was in 2003, and I had just begun to teach in schools. I had no idea that I was completely illiterate, and what I was teaching, there was so much more for me to learn at that point. And I realized this along the way, what a journey this has been. I found as we went along that I was there when Viveka Chudamani was going on, and then after that Drugdrishya was, those are the most beautiful eye-openers for me. I've been watching Guruji, and as a teacher, small teacher, I've been watching him. He's like this huge river that just keeps flowing. The knowledge just keeps flowing, and we all just come in, some of us just take a sip and go away. I've watched people come for a short while, leave, and we've been so fortunate to have him in our lives. And I'm at that point, just like just like who mentioned, Surinder mentioned, that I was also going around to all the schools, to Chinda Mission and to a lot of other schools. And I realized for the first time when I came here that there was no form that was being constantly venerated. It was the knowledge that was being, that was the focus. So it was not the Guru. Of course the Guru is important, but the form was just not what was important there. And that is where I began to soak in the knowledge. It was just, there was this, what am I going to learn next? And that has been there all throughout. I know I've not been here for a while, Guruji, and just like Zarina said, I began to live life. You taught me to live. I have, and I know you say don't say me, but yes, we know. I'm grateful to all the Gurus because I know I went to Swami Tattvavidananda one day and at the retreats, and thank you so much for those retreats. And I said, Swamiji, you know, I'm trying to teach and nobody, you know, I'm not getting the right breaks and things. And so Swami Tattvavidanandaji looks at me and says, why do you want to do it? What for? And I said, what do you mean, what for? I want to do it. The same thing with Swami Viditatmanandaji. He says, what are you going on whining for, you know? And I said, but Swamiji, I want to teach and you know. And I realize now that you don't need to go solicit. If you're required, the person comes to you and you give exactly what is required, and that's about it. So I'm now just cruising along, enjoying life, enjoying the journey, and the best thing that has happened is all my relationships. I was living this Jhansi ki Rani, fighting battles all around me. You know, there's the school district. There's I started this whole textbook challenge. You know, that what was being taught in the schools is wrong. So there again, I thought I was doing it all, and then I just quietened down, and I'm just so happy that things are happening, and you just are the love that is moving around, radiating joy and receiving joy, and the right things just happen, the right people just come to you, and nothing matters anymore, you just let go. Thank you so much, Guruji. Thank you for all of this love, and just once in a while wrapping me, you know, knock it off, Mona. You know what this is. Thank you.
I'm Kumar Singer, and I've been a student of Vedanta for the last 30, 40 years. I'm going to start with my this thing. हम जान गए पहचान गए गुरु रूप हमें भगवान मिला. Yes, indeed, we have found Ishvara in the form of great Mahatmas and teachers like Swami Dayanand, Swami Viditatmanand, Swami Tattvavidanand, and others. All these teachers have taught us who we are, but I have learned much more from them. And then three things in particular. One is the joy of teaching. Like I watched Swami Dayanand teach, and at that time the teaching and the teacher became one. And now, as I have started teaching Sanskritam, for me, it is just like the joy, you know, like you have fun teaching it. And that is one of the very important lessons I have learned from them. The other thing which I have learned is the deep commitment. Means Swamiji's and these Mahatmas, they have such a deep commitment to whatever they do. Like they do it with the full joy and full enthusiasm. And that's what I have learned. That no matter what you do, you should enjoy it and do the best you can. And the third thing which I have learned from these teachers is the hunger for knowledge, the thirst for knowledge. You have to know, there is so much to know, so much to learn. And for that, I'm very, very grateful. On the personal note, Vijayji, I would like to thank you for supporting me and giving me the encouragement of the two initiatives which I have undertaken. One is teaching children, Poon Vidya, which I taught for 12 years, and now teaching Sanskritam. Thank you indeed. And you are not an excellent teacher, but you are also a very good friend. Thank you.
Namaste Vijayji. I'm Chawla Joshi. This is 1 year that we get the opportunity to thank you. I have learned taking classes is to control the emotion. I don't react. And what I remember, when first I started, I wanted to learn so much that why I did not learn this Atmagnan. And you said everything has a time. Take your time. And this thing is not going to go away. So hopefully my next life will carry on. One thing is Monday where we meet with my satsang group, and that has helped in social environment, how much we can deal and things happen, how do we communicate to each other, and how we see the oneness in everyone and try to accept the situation. So relationships with friends, with social commitments, with children, with great patience, we accept everybody in our life. And that is the great thing I learned from these classes. Thank you for your dedication, and my pranam to you.
I'm here. I feel very young compared to all the senior students of yours.
Name?
My name is Venkatesh. I've been coming here for the past couple of months. So everyone has a couple of ideas of what a good teacher is for them. For me, two things, and you hit it out of the park. One thing is a person who I can challenge them and not get flustered. So you pass with flying colors. Because I have seen many teachers where I've gone, where I've asked idiotic questions, challenging questions, posturing questions, and they get flustered. So it's a true good teacher, even with idiots in front of them, doesn't get flustered. So good job. Second thing which I felt is that for me, in my career, in my education, a teacher who makes you think is the most crucial. So for his class, I had to prepare before class of seeing other translations and other things, and he made me really appreciate all of the scriptures that he's teaching or he's referring. I had to prepare for the class so that I could actually comprehend what he's saying. So he inspired me to go deeper. So as a teacher who makes people think, I think we are all blessed to have him around us and teach. Another one, is, the last one, I will stop. We all binge watch Netflix or other things that we binge watch. But because of your videos, now I get to binge watch something that is useful. So thank you for giving me an opportunity for binge watching. So,
Namaste, my name is Kaveri. Sir, one thing I gained from your teaching is that to balance myself from Raga Dvesha. I used to be very upset all the time, like especially with my children. Unfortunately, fortunately, I had to bring my children by myself, bring up my children. And any little things then I expect from them and it didn't happen, then I used to make them feel uncomfortable. At the same time, I also make myself comfortable. I used to go up and down, up and down. I listen to you, coming to your class, and then, you know, how quietly you penetrate that thought into my head. And then balance myself saying that it's okay, you know, you need to be in the middle road, not to go here, not to go there. And I thank you for that. I really thank you, because also it is not that easy to find a teacher, guru like you, so committed. And many times I don't want to get up, then I think of you. And I said, you know, how committed he is, and then he comes from that far, coming to the class and preparing all these things, teaching all of us. And that's not easy. Not easy, and you know, it gives me so much of inspiration. And also I try my best to come to all the classes which I can. And I thank you, sir. I thank you so much.
I think we can go over. We'll cut short the Gita class. So it's good.
My name is Sheshadri.
been coming to Guruji for the last 9 years. This will be my 10th year in fall. I have learnt a lot. Basically, I have improved as a human being, and I have know how to. I can equanimous in a lot of situations. Thanks all to the teachings. I was so amazed. I have a lot of my friends in India, and I meet them, and they'll say, "What is wrong with you guys? You go to America, and then you get into this, and why not just come to the whatever bar or restaurant with us?" And I said, "No, I can't do that anymore. I have committed to going the right way, and I'm really amazed that me and Nanjana, we always think that we grew up together in India, and we never expected to come to this country and find a teacher. Never did. And I'm truly blessed. I think, as Zarina said, we are truly blessed that you are there to teach, because if you're not there, I don't know where I would have gone. So I would have been really lost. So, and every day I used to now think that my commute was just 15-20 minutes before to work. Now it is 45 minutes, 1 hour. So, and I would get upset with the commute. Now I have incorporated all the Upanishads and on the way to work. That's all I'm saying, reciting all the Upanishads. Thank you for the Mandukya Upanishad. That has really helped me also to fill up that extra 15 minutes. Thank you.
I've seen a number of benefits, but this is the best one. Fill up his time.
I'm Li Chu. I just want to say something about our Guruji. After so many years coming here, I just came. I don't know why to this day, and I never really go to any other Indian, Swami or. This is my first time came to your class, and surprised me. I'm still here for many years. To change the lesson is hard. It's hard not to thank you and the influence of my life, because of you. This is me. The making of like how many years. How it's very subtle. It's really subtle, but I could feel. If you ask me what is your change, it's me, but deep in my heart, the way I look at the things, still the same thing, but I look differently from the teaching of Guruji and also other Swamis. When I learn something now, I don't try. I used to travel a lot. And now my sister, they will get mad with me because I don't go with them. I say, you see the same mountain. It's here and there. It's the same, It's the same water. So I try not to travel as much, and I commit myself to this class as much as I can. And to me, it's, every Saturday, just get up and go. It's so nature to me. And one thing I want to tell Guruji is, after all the learning, all the classes that you had taught, of course, I still not very clear about the Atma and how to realize it. But I just feel that much happier, much peaceful. And when I have something get upset, I will say, oh, I'm the joy itself. This thing is just a cloud. It will fly away. And then I become so calm. I really need to work on how to think. I'm kind of active, so it's very hard for me to sit down and really think. So that's my next lesson. I need to learn how to think, and I need to learn my Sanskrit in the sense to you too.
Say something in Sanskrit.
My Sanskrit way back to, when was the first time Guruji taught? It was maybe 2004 or 5. I went to a couple classes, and then the next thing Guruji says, well, you read something. I just can't, I don't know. So after that I quit, and then I went to Kumuji's class, and I quit. Then I went to Lisa's class, which was on Skype. I didn't go through, but in between I do pick up something. And on the last retreat, Lizzie Caroline suggests to Kumuji that give the lesson again. So I'm here in again, but this time I feel like I'm enlightened. I kind of like to know now, much better. But it was over like how many 14 years I tried to learn. I was looking at the notes. Some notes was 2011. So it's been a long journey, and I think the journey will continue, but it's a very, very spiritual, very nice journey that I feel my life is full of joy. Thank you so much, Guruji.
I would be happy to say that Lichi can now read in Sanskrit.
All right. Very slowly, very slowly.
My name is Rajesh Matrani, and I have been the Vijayji student for the last 10 plus years. There's so much to say about Vijayji, but I'll just focus on 2 things. One is, he's a walking saint in my mind. I've been at Intel for 35 years, and I'm a student of leadership. What does it take to be a good leader? And I see Vijayji as one of the best examples. I learned from you, Vijayji, in terms of taking this group from a small, little, home kind of a based area into this, Arshvidya Gurukulam chapter. It's a remarkable accomplishment. And I've worked with him for so many events, for Aim for Seva. I see how he encourages us, gives us inspiration, and always brings the best out of us. For that, I'm very grateful. And of course, the key essence of Vedanta, you are walking it every day. The way you prepare for classes, the way you treat us, the way you treat everybody, and the way you put in the energy and the deep commitment, to me that's very inspirational. And I follow that in my life, both in the family and at work. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Arvind Taylor, and I'm just telling you what I gained. I'm a very very new student, but what I gained is what I lost before around 30 years, an environment which we had. The sannyasi, our Guruji, the Swamiji comes once or twice a year and he teach. But we had a local teacher who will teach us every week 2 times, and he will go back and try to make it regular study. And I gained that by coming to here, and thanks to Bharat Bhai and Kalpana Ben, because we go to Swadhyay, and he said, hey, we are going to Mandokya class. I said, Mandokya? I was kind of excited because I had some background, and then I determined that I must go, and I have been coming regularly and I enjoy. The greatest part here is environment and our local teacher. That's what I gain. because there are a lot of different, sampradaya and other things. The Vedanta is so-called the Rajmarg, go straight. You don't have to go further. It takes you right to who you are. And that's what I enjoy. I was missing, I do attend Swadhyay. There's nothing wrong there. I really enjoyed that. But what I was missing, the real Vedanta, that what I studied in my childhood, my student life, and I gain it back. Thank you, and we appreciate.
Okay.
Guruji, can I just say one thing? Not just to you. I went for that first retreat with Swami Viditatmanandaji, and everything went over my head because I was not used to sitting and listening. And I came out after saying, in my next retreat, I said, he's really improved, hasn't he? And I remember Rajesh and people were, oh, has he, Mona?
Well, in the interest of time, I know many of you would like to say some things, and I know you will, but why don't we? So, this is a very, very pleasing thing for me. I think you've captured a lot of the essence of what we should be doing. Many of you have said this thing, which was very pleasing, is that the many highs and lows of life you were able to tackle. And that is really going in the right direction. That is the Gita's lessons also, and so on, that unless you have the equanimity of life, of thinking, the next step, which is a clear understanding of the Atma, will not come. And I'm very happy to see the common thread between all of your talks, that you're able to view the problems and challenges of life in a much more effusive way. And that is a great thing to do. So I'm very happy to see that, really, honestly. And you're also appreciating the commitment and the hard work that it takes. I think one of you said that you view me as somebody who, it's interesting that in some ways I'm lucky that we have this setup, because I'm also a householder like you, and I have the similar challenges like you do, and yet my journey is continuing. I still have some ways to go, but the path is getting very clear, and so you kindly take that as something, a confirmation that this is the right direction, and I'm very happy that you're doing so. So with that, we close this session, and with one thing that I would like to simply say. I was thinking that, we often talk about this word sampradaya, and so I was just thinking, there was an article that Swami Dayanandji had written, which actually appears in a booklet form also. I know Kumit told me that she has it. It's in a small brown booklet, and this is a very important article. It's called The Teaching Tradition of Advaita Vedanta. So the words teaching tradition is the sampradaya. That's the English translation of sampradaya. So what it means is, and I just gave a brief introduction to this, what sampradaya means is the original teaching, and the original teacher is Sri Dakshinamurti, which is Shiva in the form of a teacher, Ishvara. That teaching of the Ishvara needs to communicate through thousands of teachers. And in the process, nothing should be lost, because it often happens, there's this game where you sit around a table and you whisper somebody to someone, and that person whispers something to somebody else, and by the time it comes back to you, it has no semblance to what was said before, because there is always some loss in translation. So the teacher's job is not to lose the original sense. It is as though Ishvara himself was coming here and teaching to you. This is what our challenge is, and this is what our commitment is. This is meant by the word sampradaya, or the teaching tradition. So Swamiji had written this article, I don't know, about 30, 40 years ago, and I must have read it several times. And I thought that this would be something that I would give you as a prasadam. I'm so very happy that with Kumud's help we were able to put this. This just occurred to me 3 to 4 days ago. And so we now have a booklet for you. So very much like to please come by and take this booklet. And also then have prasada that some of our students have really presented this. And I'm very happy to do so, and look forward to a lot of communication with you. So please just come.
Can we touch your feet?
Let me just come over here. Yeah, good. Please don't bow and all that. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Please don't do that. It's okay. Just say namaste to me. That is enough. Good. No, please don't.
We have lots of prasadam.
Please come and take prasadam, yes.
Should I go on the other side so that people don't trip over this?
Or just take it out?
No, actually, let me take it out.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.